This is really need to change, man. People really need to speak up. I know this might piss some people off, but I don't give a shit.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. Alright, so we're going to start this one off by taking another look at the finals from the Arnold Classic South America that wrapped up yesterday. First, I just want to say thank you everyone who came and tuned into my live stream. Really appreciated having all you guys there. We had some great conversation, but I want to take a look at the top three here. And I'm going to start with Good Vito. Good Vito ended up taking home third place at this event. In his pro debut, taking home third place against Rafael Brandao, Antonio Burton, some very substantial names in this sport. Good Vito showed up with probably the best conditioning on stage of any competitor. Actually, I do want to say that he had the most quad detail of anyone on that stage. He definitely proved at this point that he is not an Instagram bodybuilder, and the only things that I think Good Vito really needs to work on moving forward is definitely his posing. He needs to learn how to pose those back poses better, especially. But overall, I think he just needs to bring that fullness that we did see at finals a little bit better than we did at prejudging. A little bit more overall size as well, and this guy is going to be a future star of the sport in the IFBB Pro League. So congrats to Good Vito on a very successful third place finish at his pro debut here at the Arnold Classic South America. Let's take a look at Tonio Burton here. Now, Tonio ended up taking home second place at this event. Tonio had fantastic conditioning at both prejudging, and I think he showed up a little bit improved at the finals. He definitely needed a little bit more oil coming into the finals. That did really make a difference for him, but he also showed up, I think, a little bit fuller at the finals. And you guys, Tonio taking second place here was a very controversial decision because a lot of people had Tonio Burton actually winning this show after the finals, and especially after the prejudging. We'll talk about Rafael's look at the prejudging here in a minute, but as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the shots that we saw at the finals here, honestly, I had Tonio taking the front double bicep for sure. I think the front lat spread you could probably give to Rafael Brandao at the finals. At the prejudging, I would have given it to Tonio. The back shots definitely went to Tonio. He had the depth, he had the superior X-frame, and Rafael Brandao, look, I was going to get into it, but I'll just say it now. Rafael Brandao had no visible striations or detail in his hamstrings and glutes, especially at the prejudging, and he had very little at the finals as well. When it comes to the side shots, I think you could probably make that a little bit of a toss-up, but I'd probably give the side chest to Tonio Burton and give the side tricep to Rafael. The abs and thigh definitely went to Tonio. Tonio had the superior midsection without a doubt, and the most muscular, I mean, Rafael was the bigger guy, I suppose, in terms of muscularity, so sure, I could give that one to him. I could actually give the most muscular to Good Vito, you know, to make an argument for that as well. Now, when it comes to Rafael Brandao taking first place here, I do have a little bit of a problem with that decision, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly why. Now, not that this is really a huge factor when it comes to actually judging this show, but halfway through Rafael Brandao's individual routine, he actually had to stop posing, and he needed to console himself so that he wouldn't be crying on stage. And he had to do this for about 20 seconds. So regardless of the reason of why he stopped posing, whether it was crying or whatever it could have been, cramping, it doesn't matter. He had to stop for 20 seconds of his individual routine where he was not posing. Regardless of the reason, I really feel that that is a detriment when it comes to you being considered a winner for this show. Now, we know that the posing routine is not actually judged, but at the Arnold Classics, it was always said that it is considered just a little bit more than other shows. Now, as they went through the finals here, the judges actually did not bring out the top three to compare at the finals. They had three separate columns. The first one was between Tonio Burton and Good Vito, then they had Good Vito and Rafael Brandao, and then they had Tonio and Rafael. So like I said, no top three comparison. But what I will say is, after the first two rounds of posing, Rafael Brandao did look to be getting very gassed. He looked like he was getting tired. He had to lean over, he was breathing very heavily. Did it affect his posing in particular? I won't say that it did entirely, but it definitely did seem like he was getting gassed. And look, in fairness, I will say that the difference between prejudging and finals for Rafael were very substantial when it comes to the change in his look. He looked very much improved from prejudging to finals. In fact, he was the most improved from prejudging to finals. But his prejudging look could not be ignored. I actually would have made an argument for him being in third after prejudging, and I'll be very interested to see the judges' scorecards. But for those reasons, I really feel that Rafael Brandao should not have won this show. I really would have given it to Tonio Burton. And yes, of course, you guys, full transparency, I've had Tonio on my channel. We talk on a regular basis here. But speaking completely objectively, for the reasons that I just outlined, I really think that Tonio should have taken the win here. Now, we'll see what Tonio's next move is going to be, whether he decides to go on to Detroit or if he just does in New York and then rolls into California. But regardless, we did have Rafael Brandao take home the win here, so I will say congratulations, and we'll see what happens when it comes to Tonio later in this season. You guys let me know what you think of this decision in the comments below. Alright, so next up, we've got an update here from Michael Daboul. Now, Michael actually recently attended a Two Bros Pro show over in the UK, where he was actually assaulted by 4 security officers that were employed by the show when it was actually finished up. It was backstage that all this took place. But let me give you guys a little bit of a rundown on what took place here. Michael Daboul actually took to his Instagram to give his opinion on the event overall. He made comments about the pricing of the show. He made comments about the stage. He actually has a clip here that I'm gonna run for you guys, so check it out.
Arnold, we pay like around $50-60 for 3 days expo. Watch the show, all divisions, except the open, I think. Yeah. Here, you pay £50 to watch one fucking category, and then you find out you need to pay for another one to watch a small show for 5 or 4 people. It's crazy, man. Yeah. Some shows really like need to grow in lighting, backstage, stage, everything. I think UK is going very much back way. Shows used to be here really good. Now it's really bad, really bad.
Now, Michael also put up some images of the stage, and he made a comparison to the Arnold Classic, where it was $65 to actually attend the Arnold for 3 days, multiple divisions, all that fun stuff. And then he said that this event was actually $50 with 1 pro division, and he took issue with that. Now, there was another clip that he put up here that I think may have been the catalyst for what came next to him actually being assaulted at that show. So you guys check this out.
I feel really sorry for guys who are prepping for 3-4 months and then they end up not treated well or not competing in a show they get respected. This is really need to change, man. People really need to speak up. I know this might piss some people off, but I don't give a shit. I'm from this. Athletes really need support. Really need to get treated well. That's not the way to treat an IFBB pro or even an amateur athlete. That's not a show you want to compete at.
So at this point, the show is over. Michael actually asked the security guard if he could go backstage to find, I believe, a friend of his, and security did tell him that he could go backstage. While he was back there, apparently another 4 security guards told him that he had to leave the backstage. He wasn't allowed there. Now, I actually watched Nick Strength and Power's recent video where he spoke to Michael Daboul, and in fairness, apparently Michael Daboul did say he was going to leave, but he did flip these guys off before he actually left. So he gave them the middle finger, and apparently they felt that that was enough. Now, I have no idea exactly what happened, but apparently it was after that Michael Daboul ended up getting assaulted to the point where he had broken ribs, he had a fractured nose. Look, I'll read the clip for you guys here that Michael Daboul actually said. In another post that he put on his Instagram story, he says here, "I appreciate everyone who asked about me. I'm okay, guys. Couple of broken ribs, partially broken nose, and I'm still waiting for the assessment of my left eye. I got beaten by 4 guys at a Two Bros Pro show. When the show was done, completely done, I asked one of the security guards to let me into the backstage to tell my partner where I'm at, so it was his partner. The security told me I can go in as the show is done, and when I was inside, I was carried out by 4 security guys who jumped me from nowhere and pounced me several times. Police arrested 2 of them and are still looking for the others. They have took many statements of people who were there and they watched the CCTV camera footage as well. I'm gonna press charges. If if you watched my previous stories, you will know why they did it. Michael also put out another slide here saying, I've been competing at the IFBB Pro League for 9 straight years, competed in over 20 different countries, and never had an issue with any show I competed or watched. I've always been and will always support the IFBB Pro League. When I criticize a small show, it's because I want the sport to get better and nothing else. Today, I felt so embarrassed and I felt really in pain. I'm not talking about the physical pain because I can take much more than that, but to get beaten in front of people and in front of my partner is a hard feeling to explain. I honestly wished for that moment to be dead and not have to look at anyone in the eyes. I will reply to everyone when I get the chance, still in the hospital, and he shared an image of himself in the hospital still waiting to get that eye assessed, and yeah, this guy definitely took a beating, you know, you can't fake stuff like this. And as I was editing this video, you guys, the Two Bros Pro Events Instagram page actually put up a post of their own addressing this directly. So they said here, the team at Two Bros would like to address an incident that took place outside our most recent show. A male athlete was ejected from the venue whilst attempting to access restricted areas where females were dressing and tanning and was refused entrance in accordance with Two Bros safety policies. Throughout the day, said individual was being very aggressive towards security staff who were just performing their duties. Several attempts were made by this individual to access restricted areas without being in possession of the correct passes or credentials. This is not the first time this individual has acted in this manner at one of our events, and was spoken to after fighting with a spectator and abusing a young female member of staff during a previous event. Now that's a very, very serious accusation on part of the event here. There are strict policies in place to comply with female athlete safety, and there are clear policies in place regarding spectators and backstage areas. Two Bros have always taken an athlete safety first approach and will continue to do so. All venue security staff are SIA licensed professionals and have strict instructions to prevent non-paying spectators attending our events and to prevent unauthorized persons accessing official areas during classes. Two Bros will not be commenting any further until the police investigations are complete. So this is in stark contrast to what Michael Daboul actually said to Nick Strength and Power when he was speaking with him directly. Michael Daboul swore that he didn't do anything wrong while he was at this show. He claimed that he was trying to access this area after the show when it was completely done. He said that very specifically in the statement that he put out as well. So something doesn't add up here. There's definitely contradiction between what Michael Daboul has said and what the event has actually said what happened. Now, from what I actually heard on Nick Strength and Power's video as well, credit where credit's due, Nick actually said that the promoter of this Two Bros Pro Show event used to be a promoter of the Arnold Classic UK, and apparently was known as a pretty shady guy. If this actually had an event promoter have something to do with this assault that took place, you know, if he actually had anything to do with it whatsoever, this is absolutely unacceptable. There is no way that an event promoter that is able to go to these types of lengths should have anything to do with the IFBB Pro League. And the IFBB did actually put out their own statement. It says here, while we await for details from the local authorities about the incident that occurred with the venue security at a UK event, so they did acknowledge that it was venue security, we want to reassure our competitors and attendees that no one should feel unsafe at any of our events. So look, I'm sure that there's going to be more that comes out about this in the coming days and weeks, you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this particular incident. Is this really how we want to see the sport represented when it comes to the promoters? Because this is the guy that would be directly dealing with the business aspect of the sport of bodybuilding, which is something that is improving in terms of athletes being able to really make a living off of this sport lately. We're seeing more prize money, we're seeing more sponsors. This is the kind of thing that can put a wrench in the gears of those things continuing to move forward. So like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Anyway, that's going to do it for me in this video, you guys. Thank you for tuning into EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.